There is a silent crisis happening among the Igbo people, and most people don't even realize it. A people known across the world for wealth, for business, and for success are slowly making one mistake that could cost them everything. For generations, there was a system, a code, a principle that built cities like Aba, raised industrial giants in Nnewi, and turned Onitsha into a commercial powerhouse. That principle is called Akuruno. But today, many are abandoning it. Money is being made, but not returning home. Success is rising, but Homeland is standing still. And here is the truth no one is talking about. If this continues, the Igbo may become rich individuals, but poor people. So the question is simple. Are we still building home, or are we slowly losing it? There is a saying in Igbo land, simple yet powerful. A saying that has built cities, shaped destinies, and defined a people for generations. Akuruno, build at home, not just physically, but economically. Not just economically, but culturally. Not just culturally, but generationally. Because to the Igbo, success is not complete until it returns home. You can travel across the world, build wealth in Lagos, Abuja, London, or New York. But if your success never touches your village, then in the eyes of tradition, it is incomplete. This philosophy is what separates Igbo from many other groups. While others migrate and settle permanently, the Igbo migrate but remain rooted. Their bodies may leave, but their investment, their pride, their legacy always return home. This is why in almost every Igbo villages, you will find something remarkable. Massive houses, schools built by individuals, community roads funded by families, churches erected by businessmen, all standing as silent evidence of one principle, Akuruno. But this philosophy is deeper than buildings. It's about identity. Because when you build at home, you are not just investing in land, you are investing in belonging. You are telling the next generation, this is where we come from. This is where we stand. This is where we always return. Without that, a people may become lost. And today, that risk is real because slowly, quietly, Akuruno is being replaced by a new mindset. A mindset of permanent migration. A mindset of external investment. A mindset that sees home as secondary. But here's the truth. Any people who abandon their homeland will eventually lose control of their future. And that is why this conversation is urgent. Because Akuruno is not just culture, it is survival. To understand why Akuruno is so important, you must understand how Igbo society was built. Unlike many civilizations, the Igbos had no king ruling vast empires. There was no single authority controlling everything. Instead, there was something far more powerful, decentralization. Every community governed itself. Every village took responsibility. Every individual had a role to play. This created something rare, a system where development was not top-down, but bottom-up. If a road was bad, the people fixed it. If a market was needed, the people built it. If a school was required, the community created it. This was not about waiting. No excuses, no dependency. This is why Igbo land developed differently. It was not planned by government. It was built by the people. And this system created a unique kind of individual, the self-driven Igbo man, a man who understands that progress is his responsibility, a man who knows that wealth is not just about enjoyment, but for impact, a man who believes that true success is measured by what you leave behind at home. This mindset is why Igbo traders dominate markets across West Africa. It is why Igbo entrepreneurs succeed in different environments. It is why Igbo communities thrive even without government support, because they operate on a different philosophy. We will build it ourselves, and at the center of that philosophy is the Akuruno. There was a time when everything was lost. The Nigerian Civil War left the eastern region devastated, homes destroyed, businesses wiped out, entire communities reduced to rubble. And when the war ended, the reality was even harsher. No compensation, no meaningful reconstruction, no safety nets. Many Igbo families who once had wealth were given just £20 to start life again. Imagine losing everything and being told to begin from nothing. And for many people, that would have been the end. But for the Igbo, it was the beginning, because something powerful remained: their mindset. They did not wait, they did not complain, they did not surrender. Instead, they rebuilt from the scratch. Men traveled to different parts of Nigeria, starting small businesses. Women supported families in trading and craft. Communities came together to build infrastructure. Step by step, block by block, market by market, the East began to rise again. And within a few decades, something extraordinary happened. Aba became a manufacturing hub. Nnewi emerged as an industrial center. Onitsha transformed into a commercial giant, all without government intervention, all without oil wealth, all powered by one principle: Akuruno. Build at home, because if you don't, nobody will. There is something fundamentally different about Igbo mindset, a belief so deeply rooted that even in the face of neglect, it does not break. And that belief is simple: we are responsible for our own development. In many parts of the world, people wait. They wait for government to build roads. They wait for authorities to provide electricity. They wait for policies to create opportunities. But in Igbo land, waiting is not a strategy, because history has taught a hard lesson. If you wait, you may wait forever. And so over time, the Igbo developed a different approach, a system of self-reliance, a system where individuals become drivers of progress, where families become mini institutions, where communities become development agencies. This is why you will find something unusual across many Igbo towns: a road built by a single man, a school funded by a group of brothers, a hospital donated by a business leader, a town hall constructed by an age grade. Not because the government asked them to, but because they refused to wait. This mindset created speed. While bureaucracies delay, individuals act. While policies stall, communities move. And this is why development, though sometimes uneven, still happens. Because it is not centralized, it is distributed. But here is where the conversation becomes deeper. This system works only when one condition is met: people must remain connected to home. Because once that connection is broken, the entire system begins to collapse. If the wealth stops returning home, if successful individuals stop investing in their villages, if the diaspora forgets their roots, then who builds, who develops, who carries the responsibility forward? This is the danger facing Igbo land today. Not lack of talent, not lack of wealth, but the gradual shift away from responsibility to home. Because Akuruno is not automatic. It is a choice. And if that choice is abandoned, then the system that built Igbo land will begin to fade. Let's talk about something very practical: money. Because at the end of the day, development is not just about ideas. It is about investment. Where money goes, development follows. Where money stays away, stagnation begins. And this is where Akuruno reveals its true power. When an Igbo businessman earns money in Lagos and builds a house in his village, he's not just building a home, he's creating jobs. Bricklayers get work, carpenters earn income, suppliers sell materials, transporters move goods. One project touches multiple lives. Now imagine hundreds of such projects happening across different towns. This is not just construction, it's an economic system. Now take it further. When that same individual builds a factory, opens a school, invests in agriculture, or establishes a business, the impact multiplies, employment increases, local economies grow, communities become active, and slowly, development begins to take shape. This is how cities rise without government. This is how economies grow without oil. This is how regions transform from within. But here's the critical point. If the same money is invested elsewhere, in other regions or other countries, then the opposite happens. Jobs are created elsewhere. Development happens elsewhere. Growth benefits another place, and the homeland remains behind. This is the silent loss many people do not see because it is not dramatic. It does not make headlines, but over time, it changes everything because development is not about potential. It is about where capital flows, and Akuruno ensures that the capital returns home. If you want proof that Akuruno works, you don't need theory. You need examples, real places, real cities, real success stories. Let us begin with Aba, a city often misunderstood, sometimes overlooked, but deeply powerful. Aba is not a government-built industrial zone. It is a people-built manufacturing ecosystem. From shoes to bags to garments to metalworks, thousands of small and medium-scale businesses operate daily. Not because of massive government investment, but because individuals decide to build. A young apprentices learn a skill, starts small, grows gradually, and eventually employs others. This cycle repeats again and again, and over time, the entire industrial city emerges. That is Akuruno in motion. Now let's move to Nnewi, often called the Japan of Africa. But not because of foreign influence, rather because of local determination. Nnewi's industrial rise did not begin with government policy. It began with traders, men who traveled, learned, imported, adapted, then decided to build at home. They didn't just sell goods, they started producing them. From auto parts to manufacturing plants, Nnewi became a symbol of what is possible. When wealth returns home, companies grew, industries expanded, employment increased, and all of it was driven by individuals who believed in one thing: home must rise from within. Now, Onitsha, a city that never sleeps, home to one of the largest markets in Africa. Onitsha is not just a trading hub, it is an economic engine. Every day, billions of naira move through this market. Goods flow in, goods flow out, connecting not just the East, but the entire country. And once again, this was not built by government. It was built by traders, by network, by trust, by community. Men who understood that while they could travel anywhere, their base must remain at home. These three cities tell one story, different in form, but identical in principle. Aba shows industrial grassroots power. Nnewi shows manufacturing excellence. Onitsha shows commercial dominance. And all three share one foundation, Akuruno. Build at home, invest at home, grow at home. Because when individuals do this collectively, something powerful happens. A region rises. Something is changing, quietly, gradually, but significantly. A shift in mindset, a shift in priorities, a shift away from home. For generations, the Igbo journey followed the familiar path: leave home, struggle, build wealth, and return to invest. But today, that cycle is being broken. A new pattern is emerging: leave home, settle permanently elsewhere, and slowly disconnect. At first, it seems harmless. After all, everyone is searching for better opportunities. Everyone wants comfort, stability, and global exposure. But over time, the consequences begin to show. Fewer houses are being built in the villages. Fewer community projects are being funded. Fewer businesses are being established at home. And slowly, the link between success and homeland is beginning to weaken. This is not just a cultural shift. It is an economic risk. Because when investment stops flowing home, development slows down. Communities become stagnant. Opportunities disappear. Young people are forced to leave, creating a circle of migration. And before long, a dangerous question begins to emerge. What exactly are we building at home? Because a homeland that is not developed cannot sustain its people, and the people without a strong homeland become vulnerable. This is how great civilizations decline, not suddenly, but gradually, through neglect, through disconnection, through the slow abandonment of foundational principles. Akuruno was designed to prevent this. It ensured that no matter how far Igbo traveled, home would always grow. But if this principle is ignored, then the future becomes uncertain, because no matter how successful individuals become abroad, if their homeland is weak, their identity becomes fragile, and when identity is lost, everything else follows. Now let's talk about one of the most powerful forces in modern Igbo society, the diaspora. Across Africa, Europe, Asia, and the Americas, Igbo men and women are thriving. Doctors, engineers, entrepreneurs, tech professionals, and investors building wealth on a global stage. This is not small wealth. This is massive potential, billions in combined earnings and investment. But here's the critical question: how much of that wealth is returning home? Because the truth is, diaspora success alone does not develop a homeland. Diaspora investment does. There is a difference. Working abroad creates personal wealth. Investing at home creates collective progress. And right now, that gap is the missing piece. Imagine if even a fraction of the diaspora wealth was strategically directed into Igbo land, into industries, into infrastructure, into technology, and into agriculture. The transformation would be rapid. Cities would expand, industries would grow, employment would rise. The East would not just compete nationally, it would compete globally. But for that to happen, there must be intention, a deliberate decision to return value home. Because without structure, wealth scatters. Without direction, potential is wasted. Akuruno provides that direction. It reminds the diaspora, no matter where you succeed, home must benefit, not as charity, but as strategy. Because investing at home is not just emotional, it is smart. Land appreciates, local markets expand, untapped opportunities exist, and those who move early position themselves for the future. So the question is no longer, should we invest at home? The question is, why are we not doing it more aggressively? In Igbo culture, land is not just property, it is identity, it is history, it is legacy. From ancient times, land has been the foundation of wealth, not money, not titles, not temporary success, but land. Because land does not disappear, land does not forget, land connects generations. This is why every Igbo man, regardless of where he lives, desires one thing: a place at home, a compound, a piece of earth, a physical connection to his roots. Because without it, there is a sense of incompleteness. But beyond tradition, there is also strategy. Land is the base of generational wealth. When you build at home, you are not just creating comfort for yourself, you are creating inheritance, something your children and their children can return to, something that anchors your lineage, no matter how far it spreads. But here is where many make a mistake. They acquire land, but do not develop it. They build houses, but leave them empty. They invest, but without long-term vision, and so potential remains unused. Akuruno is not just about owning land, it is about activating it, turning land into homes, businesses, schools, and industries, assets that generate value across generations. Because true wealth is not what you spend, it is what you leave behind. And in Igbo land, what you leave behind defines your legacy. The world is changing faster than ever before. Technology is redefining business. Globalization is reshaping opportunities. Digital economies are replacing traditional systems. And in the middle of all this change, one question stands: can Akuruno still work in the modern world? The answer is simple. Not only can it work, it is needed now more than ever. But it must evolve, because building at home today is no longer just about houses and compound. It is about systems, modern industries, smart infrastructure, digital platform, scalable businesses. The new Akuruno must go beyond tradition into innovation. Imagine tech hubs in Enugu, manufacturing clusters in Aba powered by modern machines, smart logistics systems in Onitsha, agricultural processing zones across the east, all driven by private investments. All connected to global markets. This is not a dream, it is a possibility. But only if the mindset shifts from "let me build a house" to "let me build an ecosystem," because the future belongs to those who build systems, not just structures. And the Igbo already have the foundation: entrepreneurial spirit, global exposure, financial strength. All that is missing is coordination, is vision, is commitment to modernizing the philosophy. Akuruno 2.0 is not about going backward. It is about moving forward with truth firmly planted at home. Let us imagine for a moment a different future. A future where Akuruno is completely abandoned, where success is measured only by life abroad, where investment flows outward, where home becomes an afterthought. At first, nothing dramatic happens. Life goes on. People continue to succeed individually. But slowly, the cracks begin to appear. Villages become empty. Communities grow weaker. Local economies shrink. The next generation begins to lose connection. Languages fade. Tradition weakens. Identity becomes diluted. And then, something deeper happens. Control is lost. Because when a people do not develop their homeland, others will. Land ownership changes, economic influence shifts, cultural dominance fades, and before long, a people that once built everything themselves begin to depend on others. That is the real danger, not poverty, but irrelevance, because history has shown this again and again. Any group that abandons its foundation eventually loses its place. This is not fear-mongering, it is reality. Akuruno was never just about development. It was about preservation, protection, continuity, and without it, the future becomes uncertain. There comes a time in the life of every people when a decision must be made, a decision that defines the future. For the Igbo, that time is now, because everything needed for greatness is already in place. The talent is there, the wealth is there, the global network is there. What remains is their choice. A choice to return value home, a choice to invest where it matters, a choice to build, not just for today, but for generations. Akuruno is not a suggestion, it is a responsibility to ancestors who held the land, to communities that shaped identity, to children who will inherit the future. Because one day, every journey ends, every traveler returns, and when that moment comes, the question will not be, how much did you make? The question will be, what did you build at home? Will there be something to return to, or will there be nothing left? The future of Igbo land will not be decided by government. It will not be decided by chance. It will be decided by the Igbo themselves, by their choices, by their investment, by their commitment to one principle: Akuruno, build home or risk losing everything forever. If you believe in the future of Igbo land, if you believe in building something that lasts, then this message is for you. Don't just watch, act, start small if you must, but start. Invest in your community, support development at home, encourage others to do the same, because change does not begin with everyone, it begins with someone, and that someone can be you. If this message spoke to you, share the video. Let this reach to every Igbo son and daughter across the world, because the future we want will only come if we build it at home.